So many votes, so little time. Where do I begin? Not only, I just told you about this UN vote, they're going to have a vote on the Palestinian flag and raising it there along with the Vatican, but I want to focus on the United States Senate right now as well as the House of Representatives, but it's in the Senate that they had the biggest disappointment, a cloture vote or a vote to stop debate and go ahead and vote yay or nay on this Iran deal failed. So we might not get a vote on this, and in the House, a separate measure to get the clock restarted once they have all that other data and all that other sort of agreement, the sidecar deals as they're called, with the IAEA and all. Well, they're not going to get that either. So they could be wasting their time. Chad Pergram on all of this. Heritage Foundation, Steve Moore, and former FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force member Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers, to you first. What a mess. Bottom line, big mess. And you say it's sending a signal to the wrong guys.
Well, with regard to Iran, catastrophic for Israel, catastrophic for the United States. And Neil, I've shared with people, if you have a 10-year-old child, hug them now, because 10 years from now, they may very well be fighting a war in the Mideast over this catastrophic deal.
Steve Moore, I guess politically, you got to question how Republicans got themselves in this conundrum, a point I'll raise with Chad in a second, but are you upset with the leadership as some of these candidates are, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz and even Bobby Jindal a second ago? What do you think?
Well, look, I think you mean the leadership in terms of how they've dealt with the Iran deal?
Yep.
I can't fault them that much. I think that they've been put in a corner. What I don't understand as a taxpayer, Neil, is how in the world did you justify giving $150 billion of U.S. taxpayer dollars to our sworn enemy, the group that says it wants to kill us?
But it's not taxpayer dollars. It's not taxpayer dollars as much as it's their money that's been frozen for a few decades. I understand your anger, but you know, it's not as if taxpayers are forking over this money, right?
Well, taxpayer dollars are going to flow to Iran under this deal, and I just find it to be reprehensible that we're essentially funding the people who want to kill us.
Chad, how did it get to this, and what do they do now to save face or to look? You know, you heard what Josh Earnest said. You're wasting your time, boys. Let's wrap it up, right?
Yeah, the Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid in just the past 30 minutes has said, this vote was decisive and final. The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said they're going to try to revote this again next week. Again, they got a majority of the Senate to vote for this. 58, they needed 60.
Wasn't enough.
I know, and this is where Harry Reid turned around and said, well, wait a minute, are we going to relitigate this like health care some 60 times? So the Democrats are propounding that narrative now.
Real quickly, Steve, what you've been arguing is that bad guys look at this, ISIS looks at this, and has a field day, right?
Oh, they sure do, and which I hope to God isn't lost in the conversation. 4 American hostages are being left behind by the U.S. government. ISIS looks at this and they say, you know what? We could do what we want, especially with regard to the Syrian crisis. Watch what's going to cross that border into this country.
Very quick, Steve.
Neil, we always talk about incentives matter. What worries me most about this deal as an economist, the incentive, now North Korea is going to do the same thing. They're going to try to get a bomb to get money.
They tried it before. They might have it now. Yep. All right, and here we go. And this is it. And they're still talking. Yikes.
Quicker.